All right, next up we have Margie O'Brien and Pete Wood. Thank you both so much for joining us. The General Assembly website's an important tool. We spoke a lot last week about legislative advocacy and referenced all the ways that you were going to be able to use these tools. So without further ado, I'll let Margie and Pete introduce themselves as much as they would. And Margie, we have you guys on the agenda till 7:10.
Great. Okay.
And
Thanks,
if
Lauren.
anybody has questions, I'm sorry to interrupt. If anybody has questions, throw them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation if we have time. Thank you.
Great. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Margie O'Brien. I'm the director and host of Capital TV here at the State House. And a big shout out to Pete Wood from our IT department, who is going to help share the screen today. The goal is to help you navigate the General Assembly website, which has gotten so much better. A couple years ago, we revamped the whole thing and we really reached out to people about what they wanted, the information they needed at their fingertips. And it was designed to really be very user-friendly, very instructive, and offer greater insight. And of course, the biggest thing is to have transparency in the government. So I'm hoping Pete will be able to share the screen. The website is rilegislature.gov, which is pretty easy to remember. And the site, again, has been updated just in the last couple of years. If you have not been to the State House, I highly encourage you to, this is the fun part, skip down to the video tour of the State House. We produced this with Secretary of State Greg Amore. And if you've ever met him, he is this incredible history buff and is able to walk us through every room of the State House without notes, mind you, and just recite from the top of his head how important each room was or an artifact. And so that's fantastic. But for those of you who have been able to have the pleasure of come to this beautiful building, you don't really need that. So I'm going to dive in to what we really offer here. And this is a very proactive approach to navigating this website. And it all begins with this top line that says, "Getting started." This is such a great way to look at all of the rules and strategies for walking through this website. Let's begin with, if you are curious about what's going on here. You see this big legislative calendar on the right-hand side. If you click on any given day, it will give you a list of all of the activities here at the State House. And this includes sessions, both the Senate and the House, any hearings that we have, any committees, commissions. Sometimes we also add press conferences or special events, and it's really right there at your fingertips. Pete, if you can click on the 13th, which is tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm hoping you can. So again, it would list, tomorrow is a session day for both the House and the Senate. They start at 4 o'clock. And tomorrow we have a jam-packed calendar because the Senate is coming back with full force. There are 8 things between 3 and 4 o'clock before session. And these are all the hearings and everything.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I can't
Sure.
hear you.
So you're also enjoying some beautiful pictures from the State House and also the gardens, which are great. But if we can't get to the date, Pete, that's okay. We can just sort of move along.
I'm sorry, my speakers kicked out. I'm sorry, Margie. I couldn't hear you at all, but just tell me where I need to go.
Okay, so could you click on Tuesday the 13th for me on the calendar? So this gives you a list of everything that's happening tomorrow. And I imagine, given this group, you might be interested in Rise of the House, the Health and Human Services. So if you go down to that line, Pete, and to the PDF, there is your agenda. And it lists all of the bills that the committee will be hearing tomorrow. And it gives you an idea of exactly where you need to be if you want to be here in person. So at the top, you'll notice that it's room 135 at the State House, and the meeting begins at the Rise of the House, which means after session. Typically, it's about 5 o'clock at night. And that is a great way to plan your day to say, okay, when do I need to be there? Do I want to testify? Am I bringing people with me? Being able to coordinate such. So that's one thing. Going back to the homepage, Pete, right above the calendar is a breakout of everything you would need to know. Here are the session calendars. Here's the committees, the committee calendars, the commissions, the commission calendars. So you can really see exactly what's happening. And everything is pretty well loaded Monday of any given work week. So you're able to plan your time. Clicking on one of these, this is Monday, May 12th. This is everything that we had on the calendar. And if for every hearing that we're going to be hosting and also airing on Capitol TV, you'll see the PDF next to it. And that is the agenda. Now, as I said, if you want to testify in person, that's one thing. Also, you can submit written testimony that all of the committee members will read. And that is something that is a little bit more in depth. And what we've done at Capitol TV is we've just produced a video on exactly how you do it, even about strategies for parking at the State House, because that's the most difficult part. So if you ever want to take a peek at that, you can look on our website. There is a video that's dedicated just to that. But Pete, if you go back to the homepage and go scroll down just a little bit, I wanted to show you on the right-hand side of the news headlines, and this is all of the press releases that have been created by the Legislative Press Bureau over the last given weeks. If you can just click on one, people get an idea of what a press release looks like. And this is really just the highlight from the week. Every Thursday, we have a meeting and we discuss what's the most important stuff that was really happening here at the State House, the laws that were passed, bills that were heard. And this is a highlight that goes out to all the media. Back to the homepage, Pete. On the left-hand side are also video highlights. These are all the hearings or the events that Capitol TV have covered in order. And this is all something that in case you missed, you can just click on and be able to watch anything. Legislative Insight is one of the programs we do here. It's a deeper dive into a piece of legislation or something that a legislator is trying to push through this session, which these are the stories that I personally love because I have a reporter background. We get outside of the building, we dive into a topic, we get great B-roll out in the field. So these are all edited into a really concise package, that we call it, and it's a story that you can understand something. So this, for instance, is the GOP office created this giant Republican timeline of listing and showcasing every Republican legislator that has served in the House since 1894. So we just did that. So I'll give a little plug in case you want to come back and watch that. All right, so this is an idea. If we go back to the homepage, Pete, everything is happening in the building, but because of Capitol TV, you get to watch everything, including gavel-to-gavel coverage of both Senate and House sessions from the comfort of your couch. You don't even have to leave. You don't even have to get out of your PJs. So you can watch this by clicking on the Watch tab, and this is the Capitol TV site. You'll see in the top is a list of everything that is happening, the times, and also the channels that you can watch. Each event is assigned a live channel. And as of last year, we can do 8 things live at the same time. Only one will be live on TV, but everything else will be live streamed. So you can watch this from your laptop, from your phone. Yes, we have an app for Capitol TV, so you'll never miss a thing. And this is all most of the House session is live, always live on Capitol TV. We now this year have a brand new channel for the Senate session. So they too are live. And depending on your cable subscriber, it's either channel 61 or 75. But again, everything is always available at your fingertips on the website. If you missed something that you really needed to see, or you want to go back and see, what was the debate in this hearing? What was the vote on the floor? If you scroll down, Pete, you'll see that this is all in order. There is your House sessions, your Senate sessions, and then it goes into every committee alphabetically. So House Corporations, House Environment, and you just have to click on one of these links. They're all in alphabetical order and also by date. The newest is right on top, going back to everything happening from January. So all of this is the video record of what happened in that hearing. And this is all available all the way back to 2013. And Pete, this is something that I really wanted to show people because it's a little tricky. If you scroll up, so everything that you see right now, this is all 2025. But if you go back to the archives, this top yellow button, this is everything dating back to April of 2013. And this is everything that Capital TV has covered. Prior to this, if you really needed a record, you just have to send us an email, and we can actually go to the archives building, pull the tape for you, and make you a copy. So that is everything that we have done to date, which is a lot. We're covering so much more today. I've been here for almost 10 years, and I would say that our calendar has probably quadrupled in the assignments that we get. Pete, if you can go back to the homepage, if you, in your work, needed to do a deep dive on a certain bill, you would go up to Bills and Laws at the top, and this is pretty user-friendly. It takes a little bit to get used to it, but for instance, if you wanted to do what's going on with Bill 114, which deals with prescription costs, you tap Bill Status. About 3/4 of the way down, you'll see Bills. You type in 114, and this is the bill number assigned by the Senate. There's also a corresponding bill in the House. You'd need to know that number, enter, and you go right to the bill. And this is something that's been really interesting. It's been a big talker this session. It lists exactly the status of the bill. It was introduced on January 31st, and then you'll see at the last line, it was placed on the Senate calendar. And the Senate is actually going to hear this and vote on it tomorrow. So this is a great way to stay up to date on a bill. Again, you have to do the work, but there's another way that is a little bit more user-friendly. Again, Pete, going back to the homepage, you can sign up to track a bill. So if you have something of utmost importance that you really want to know what is happening up there without going through all that work, you're going to How to Track Bills. Click on this. All you need to do is create an account for you. And you're going to, once you do that, you're going to tag certain bills that you really want to have an update with you. And you get emails directly saying like, hey, House and Health and Human Services heard this last night. They've put it on the floor for a vote for June 2nd. And now you'll be able to schedule your calendar that way. This is a free service, and it's really been well received by people. We've been hearing from a lot of people who love the idea of tracking something without doing a lot of work. Going back to the homepage, you may, if you're really dead set on testifying for a bill, supporting a bill, or maybe you really don't want a bill to go through and you want to talk to your legislator, there's actually a button for that. Who are my legislators? If you go down, this will link you right over to the Secretary of State's page, and you just have to type in your zip code or your town, and it will bring up your legislator both in the House and the Senate. Going back to our House page, and if you click on House, this is all of the representatives. The top bar is the leadership, and then it goes alphabetical order. And if you just click on Marvin Abney, our representative and chairman of the finance from Newport, that's all of his information. He has a biography, constituent services, legislation that he's supporting and also advocating for, all the way across to photos. This is every picture that Capital TV has ever taken him at events, during finance meetings, during House debates. That's all there for you right at your fingertips. His information to get in touch with you, if you can see it, is right under his picture. That's his email, that's his address and phone number. And this is a great way to reach out to your legislators. This is available for all representatives and all senators. And again, I know we've covered a lot, and 7:05, I'm getting there. All right, this is something that we know is so much information at your fingertips. And if you go back to the homepage, Pete, I just wanted to reinforce that if you go to Getting Started, All of this information is right there. See right on the top, how to navigate the General Assembly's website. This is a video that we produced last year, and it really does walk you through a great portion of what we just talked about. And again, the Capitol TV website, it is all there. And I promise that if you have patience and perseverance, you're going to be able to find anything you're looking for. But again, that's a video on how to navigate our website, how to watch anything on demand prior to 2024, that's all at your fingertips. And Pete, if you can just scroll up just a little bit for me, this is all laid out. How do I find a bill? How do I track a bill's progress? Also, how do I testify both in person, maybe submit written testimony? How do I make my testimony effective? These are some great strategies on you never want to repeat what the person in front of you said. You never want to read from your written testimony because, again, the committee members are reading all of the submitted testimony. And I think if you heard the previous speaker, she said that it becomes public record. Anything you submit also becomes public record here underneath the legislature. So that is really just the Bible on how to navigate this whole website. I hope that we've given you some of the highlights tonight. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them.
I don't know how to thank you guys so much for what you've done with this website over the last several years. It has made those of us that do this all day long lives substantially easier. The transparency has increased substantially. And, people are surprised when they go and visit how much has been built out on this. So if folks haven't visited this in a long time, please take an opportunity to go and visit it. Margie, there was one question that came up the other day. I thought maybe you and Pete could guide us about how do you find testimony that's been given. I believe that the House is only the one that has it up. I know the Senate is on the way, but I think the House is the one that has it up right now. Would you mind just showing people that quickly? Is that something you might be able to do?
Oh, I think I think you're going to stump me, Lauren. Pete, do you know how to get to the testimony, or does it have to go through each hearing?
So yes, I can show you both. And actually, Senate just came on board probably about a month ago with their committee. We call them committee documents. So right here in this main menu here on the side, underneath, getting started, we have House committee documents and Senate committee documents. So I'll show you both of them. They're a little different. House committee documents, you get a list of the committees. And so corporations will look at that one. We have each agenda date. So whenever there's a meeting, the agenda will go up. And then this is what it normally looks like. It just lists the agenda. And as we receive correspondence, they get filed in underneath each agenda. So just note that this is public information. The search engines will pick it up. So if you submit any testimony and in 3 weeks you start seeing your name showing up on Google with all this state testimony, we do have a process of taking it down, but that is that's Google scraping our site. So for Senate committees, there's a little different, looks a little different. They have it sorted by bill. So each agenda and then the bills that are on that agenda and everybody's testimony underneath that. So, and
thank you for that. And then there was one additional question in the chat is the question is there a way to either like optimize the site for mobile, or is there any mobile settings? Because sometimes docs are on the fly trying to check like what the status of their bill is on the phone or whatnot. Is there any setting or app or anything that they could be using to do that? Or are we kind of still in process towards that?
Yes. So there is a mobile friendly version of the site. It is pretty much a scaled down version of the screen. The code isn't optimized for mobile. It will work on mobile, but is not optimized. And unfortunately, there's a few different websites behind the scenes here. So the one you're looking at is one. And then if we go to Bills and Laws, kind of see a different layout. That's a different technology. It's kind of an older legacy technology. So we're kind of limited at this time with the mobile support. There is basic mobile support, but it's not like a rich mobile support. So that's kind of in the works, but there's no date on that. We're aware of it. It's just a bigger nut to crack on our end.
No, and I'll tell you, you guys have made a tremendous amount of progress. So Pete, so nice to meet you. Margie, thank you again for joining us. I just want to let folks